Hey travelers, Mag and I here on day 86 of our trip around the United States. Today is not going according to plan at all. It is also the latest morning that we've gotten started yet. We're here in downtown Duluth. It's 11 a.m. now, and we've been toiling away in the car for the last few hours just trying to decide if we're actually going to do this day or not. We do have to find at least one geocache in Duluth, and we don't want to let the day go completely to waste, so we're going to just embrace the suck and get out here and do some geocaching. It's been raining since we woke up at about 5 a.m. and it hasn't stopped since. The weather forecast says it's not going to stop raining until tomorrow night. So we're left with a choice. And what we ended up deciding to do was we're going to go cache in downtown Duluth, and we're going to spend about half a day here, and then we're going to spend the other half of the day doing our administrative stuff, particularly laundry, since now we've got a bunch of wet clothes and other stuff to deal with as well. Tomorrow, we were going to have all day for downtown Duluth instead of today. What we're going to do instead, based on the weather forecast, is just go ahead and get on the road. I think we're going to be better off pushing through this, and another day of this is just more than we want to do. So today's definitely going to be a short day. We're going to take you on a little tour of downtown Duluth, and then that's going to be it. But we'll be ready to get back on the road tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be able to push clear of this rain and get some good geocaching in after that. So let's see exactly what Duluth has in store. Come on, let's go.
Situated on the north shore of Lake Superior on the westernmost point of the Great Lakes, Duluth is the largest metropolitan area and the largest U.S. city situated on Lake Superior. We parked our car in the heart of downtown and made our way to the first stop of the day. Unfortunately, there was a lot of construction between us and there. We had to backtrack several times and choose different streets each time we came up against a new set of construction barricades. With some patience, we did finally make it to the memorial for Clayton, Jackson, and McGee. This monument tells a dark story of Duluth's past, when 3 men were accused of rape and dragged out of their cells by a mob to be lynched. It was later discovered that they weren't even the perpetrators of the crime. Rather than hiding this dark history, the city has chosen to embrace it so that all will remember and learn from the past, in an effort to prevent something tragic like this from ever happening again. From there, we were destined for the waterfront. But along the way, we happened to see several good murals through the city. This one seems like it's predicting the future, as we are on our way to see the High Bridge very soon. And from there, we'll have a great view across the river to look at the neighboring state of Wisconsin, which we've already traveled extensively. I'll stick to the English pronunciation on these kinds of names, because these Native American ones are pretty tough.
The river walk, at least, is making me feel a little bit better about this. Yeah, we're still soaked. There's no help in that. But, man, that is an impressive view out over the lake. And those are some ripping waves right now.
In the heavy wind and rain, those waves are absolutely battering the shoreline.
It's also important to look for the silver linings. And one of the silver linings is because of all this rain, we have this place all to ourselves. This is actually kind of cool to see without all the people around.
The walk along Lake Place hosts an international sculpture garden exchange that is sponsored by the Duluth Public Arts and the Duluth Sister Cities Commission. The Green Bear was the first sculpture commissioned for this with a sister city in Russia, dedicated in 1992. The stone from Sweden was added in 1993, and then in 1994 they also added Water and Friendship from Japan. Each of these sister cities is indicated on this signpost with a distance to how far away they are from downtown Duluth. The sculpture garden along the lake walk makes for a fantastic walk, albeit I would personally recommend visiting when it's not pouring rain.
Well, she was telling me she wanted a good walk, so now we're getting it today, and I don't think she's happy about the end result here. How you doing, Aichen? Kind of wet, huh? Hey, at least you got a bath today, Aichen, right? All clean now?
I'm not convinced she cares that she's clean, only that she's soaking wet.
Don't think I don't see that lighthouse. Oh, I see it. And there's no way we're not going to walk out there and go check it out. That's just too good to pass up.
The raised area near the Sister City destination sign also provides a great viewpoint for downtown Duluth. But if we're actually going to be able to make it to that lighthouse, then we're going to have to go down these stairs and keep going past this station. Oddly, I was just thinking about how many different ways I've seen Lake Superior behave when I spotted this bench. I love to watch the different moods of Lake Superior.
And as you can see, it is in quite a mood today. I don't know, I kind of like it. It matches mine though.
I'm not a big fan of the rain, so even though we're out here geocaching, I've definitely been in a bit of a surly mood.
2 for the price of 1. You got the Duluth North Point and the Duluth South Point Lighthouse right there. I'm trying to figure out what exactly this means. Does that mean like the area here in front of the cantina? Or perhaps the sidewalk area behind us? Or maybe, just maybe, maybe it means this is a good spot for us to come find a geocache. Let's see what we got inside here. I got some trackables. And that's about it.
The Spirit of Lake Superior was my second favorite piece along the lake walk. But the Fountain of the Wind definitely took first place in my book. There is so much to interpret here, but not only can you view it from the outside, you can walk right through the center of it to appreciate this art firsthand. Just be careful though, those stepping stones can be quite slick, particularly when it's been raining all morning long.
Alright Duluth, you're right. I'm gonna lift my spirits. No more bad mood because of the rain. We're just gonna go out there and have some fun.
Plus, it's difficult for your spirits not to lighten at least a little bit when you get your first up-close view of the aerial lift bridge. This is one of only 2 bridges constructed like this in the country, and it can be raised up to 135 feet in the air. This viewpoint is directly in front of the Lake Superior Maritime Visitor Center, which is operated by the United States Army Corps of Engineers. We started our walk up to the aerial lift bridge in earnest from here, but there was still a whole lot more sculptures to see between us and there. Some of the more interesting pieces include the determined mariner, who is struggling to keep his ship under control in bad weather. A large piece of float copper that was dredged up by the hydraulic New Jersey. The modern ship propeller, which was removed from a 520-foot ore carrier. And this anchor dedicated to sailors of the U.S. Navy. Once we finally reached the area directly underneath the aerial lift bridge, we realized we could see not 1, not 2, but 3 lighthouses from here. And we were only a couple hundred feet from another geocache, so maybe we can add our name to another logbook.
While we're down here, we might as well go make a find too. An old classic.
It may have taken us a while, but we did finally reach the top of the aerial lift bridge. Originally built in 1905 as a gondola, it was reconstructed in 1930 to be a vertical lift bridge. It goes up and down nearly 5,000 times a year to allow large vessels to pass underneath into the canal. The canal itself, guarded by 3 lighthouses, is 300 feet wide by 35 feet deep and a quarter-mile long. And while conditions are fairly calm on the other side of the canal, where it reaches Lake Superior, it is still getting beat up by this weather today. Following the pedestrian pathway along the canal, you're also provided an opportunity to cross the Minnesota Slip Drawbridge. Like its larger brother, it has become an attraction in its own right and can also raise up in the air to allow vessels to pass underneath. The Slip Bridge provides a convenient connection to the Arena Waterfront Park, the Bayfront Festival Park, and the Great Lakes Aquarium. Although we did not go inside the aquarium today, we did take the opportunity to tour the statues located around the entrance area. There are no geocaches located directly at the aquarium, but there certainly could be. This would make a great spot for a virtual or an earth cache based on the rocks that each of these statues are embedded in. They're fantastic geological samples.
We're just going to creep here along this fence. There's not really anybody out here to notice us anyway. Dive in here. Quick grab.
And let's go ahead and polish off our day with a couple more finds, starting with this cap and cap in this tree. And as we make our way back into the city, we happen to notice that there was one more on the map nearby. Yet again, the old classic. Well, despite the rain, that didn't end up being too bad of a tour of Duluth after all.
Alright travelers, that is it for us today. We are calling it a wraps quite a bit early today because we are going to stick with our intent of finishing our administrative tasks today so that we can get on the road tomorrow. That'll put our whole schedule a day ahead, which we can really use. Because I always feel like I'm harried by the time when I'm pushing up against the edge of the deadline every day. But if we're one day ahead on the schedule, that's going to give us a lot of room to stay and play if somewhere along the way we find somewhere where we're having a good time and we're just enjoying ourselves. It started off as a very rainy, wet, windy morning. And we finally made the decision to just get out there and go walk around downtown and suck it up for the rain. And you know what? It ended up being a good decision. We were soaked and we were rained on for a pretty long time, but eventually it let up and we got some, well, not quite clear skies. We at least got a break in the rain. It's not going to last though. Forecast says it's coming back tonight and it's going to stick around all day tomorrow, which only solidifies our decision to go ahead and get out of town first thing tomorrow, and maybe we can beat the weather a little bit. We really enjoyed getting to walk all the way through Lakefront Park and all the sights you saw along the way. It was actually just as beautiful as we were hoping Duluth was, and it gave us a fantastic impression of the city. So I'm hoping maybe one day we'll get to come and visit again when the weather's a little better in our favor, because it turned out to be quite the city to come visit. Thank you for joining us today on this wet, rainy adventure. Like this video, subscribe to stay tuned for daily updates, and we'll see you out on the trails.